And the first thing surely that Allah made was the intellect. The intellect. When you stand in front of a mirror, I'm so thankful to hearing with this from Muhammad the Prophet. Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And that little simple phrase that I just gave you, what, 7, 8 words? He gave you your identity. Your identity is not a male. Your identity is not a female. Your identity is not Sudanese. Your identity is not American. Your identity is an intellect, a mind. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. And Allah, He taught man by the pen. If you teach somebody by the pen, your arm is not being taught. Your hand is not being taught. Your knee is not being taught. So the Quran and Prophet Muhammad is giving you, pointing you to where your identity is. Your identity is in your intellect. Allahu Akbar. This is the failure of many nations and governments, because they don't point to the real identity of the human being. Allahu Akbar. So this is why you have so many people falling into these traps of racism and other small, insignificant foolishness. Allah tells us, Huwa alladhi khalaqakum. It is He alone, by Himself, who created every single one of you. He didn't need a wife. He didn't need a husband. He didn't need grandparents. Min tin, thumma khala ajala. Says He created every single one of you from the dust. Then He prescribed for you a specific term that you will live. Excuse me. This is Allah saying to this in the Quran. And why is it speaking to us in this way? Because we are all created from the same equal source. You look at my fingers. My finger here is fatter than the rest of them. This finger is taller than the rest of them. This is smaller than the rest of them. So these fingers represent the different human beings on the earth. Though they look different, they get the same source of nourishment and the same source of cleanliness regardless to their size. And the same with all human beings. Our equality is given to us by virtue of our creation. Nobody can take our equality away. No nation can take it away. The equality was written in our Constitution, in our composition, when Allah created us in the wombs of our mothers. Allahu Akbar. And you know what freedom is predicated upon? Freedom? You know the 4 freedoms of the United States? The freedom to do this and the freedom to do that. Where does this freedom come from? Where does it come? You intelligent people. Shouldn't you ask these kind of questions? Where does freedom come from? Freedom comes from the womb of your mother. You were tied in mama's womb by an umbilical cord. You were not free. I'm talking to every man in here. And that time there was acceptable in the eyes of God, because under that condition you grew. Under that condition you grew. وَأَنْتَ هِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ. And you are a free man in this city. I know the word for free is harro. I know that. But I say, وَأَنْتَ هِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ. وَأَنْتَ هِلٌّ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ. Like halal. You know halal? Okay. So it's not free. Here I'm speaking to brothers that speak Arabic. Hurrum is like free, to be free. But halal is like legal. And we created you to be a legal entity. This is Allah saying this to us. And He says, Huwaladhi again. He is alone again. Yusawirukum. And He has formed and shaped you. Fil arham. This is Quran. In case you don't believe me, what I'm saying, it's chapter 3, verse 6, I think. It says, Huwaladhi yusawirukum. And it is He who shaped you. He who has given you your features. Allah gave you your features. See this here? Allah gave me this. I don't care what you don't like. Allah liked it. He said this nappy hair that this boy got, this black face, Allah loves us. And then the whitest man over here look whiter than a white sheet of paper, Allah loves him too. With his hair straighter than a pencil. Allah loves him too. So what is this? It's diversity. Allah created your different features. He created your different features. Because your diversity is what's going to move humanity. Good God Almighty, I don't know if you understand that. If we was all females, we wouldn't last beyond 40 years, 100 years. If we were all males, we wouldn't last beyond 100 years. Okay? You have to have diversity. You must have a male and a female. You must have differences in order to have a future life. And then you have to have the different races. I'm helping you to understand there's no racism in Islam. Why you don't have it. You don't have racism in Islam because humanity it depends on diversity.